Yo, what is going on, guys? You got Hiker Toad here with NPL Week 8, and this is honestly the most important week left in the regular season, as we are going up against my man Turk, coach of the Toronto Luxrays, and going into this week, both of us are 5-2, plus 11, so we literally have the same record and same differential. He hasn't lost a single conference game, though, so he would have the edge in a tie. Actually, I think ties head-to-head first. I'm not entirely sure on that. I'd have to see. But yeah, this game is nonetheless very, very important, as currently our conference is being led by Techno, who I think has a game on both of us, who going into this is 6-1. And both of us are 5-5, as like I said and you see on the screen. But basically, whoever wins this is put into a very good position to make playoffs and potentially actually steal the 1 seed from Techno, and then the loser of this game is instantly put into a position where making playoffs might be harder if Zeden wins his match this week. I'm not going to spoil that if he does or does not. But yeah, that would be very bad for the loser of this match, as only 3 people make playoffs per conference, so it's top 3 in each conference. And like I said, we have Techno, me and Turk, and then we have Zeden who is currently in 4th. So yeah, definitely this is like a must-win game, 100%. As like I said, we can get a better playoff spot, and also like make it so we can actually make playoffs, and then potentially take the first seed if Techno does drop a game, which I think is possible because in week 10 Turk actually plays Techno, and if we beat Turk here, then Turk will want to win week 10 to make sure he makes playoffs if Zeden does end up winning the rest of his games, as Turk will need to win his games as well, because Turk will have differential over Zeden most likely, due to the differential gap between Zeden and Turk and me, I guess, because me and Turk have the same differential. So yeah, I'm just gonna hop right into this. He has the Landorus Incarnate with Sheer Force, Thunderous T, Azumarill, Gudra, Mega Houndoom, Bronzong, Silvally, Swellow, Weezing, Breloom, and the Avalugg. So looking at this, I'll be completely honest, this is probably the best matchup that I've had this entire season, which is definitely very nice here. As his first round pick, Landorus I have on my draft, I have Celesteela, Rotom Wash, I have Yuxi, I have Decidueye, which can check it to an extent, but not exactly, and I have Piloswine with Ice Shard to outspeed it, for the priority, and to like stop a Rock Polish variant. So basically, for Landorus to do anything, he needs to run Gravity. If he's not Gravity, Landorus won't really do much, and obviously to use Gravity, he needs to use that 1 turn to set it up. And so I could take advantage of that and maybe play more aggressive to try and do that. Like if he goes, that could be a free switch into Piloswine if he goes for the Gravity. Or maybe I can play aggressive with my Charizard or Terrakion. As you see, I brought them against that Landorus, predicting it to go for Gravity. Although I'm going to talk about Turk a little bit here. Turk is more on the safer side of players. He actually lost his game last week due to not playing aggressively, as I think Keegan went from his Mega Medicham to the Skarmory, and if he Gravitied, he'd won. But he did not Gravity, he just played it safe and went for the Earth Power. So I know that Turk is more than likely going to play safe as well, so that's something to consider. And honestly, Turk is a very good player. I didn't really talk about Turk. I wanted to actually talk about Turk a bit because I think that some people underestimate him because he has no guap, and why would you respect someone as a battler who has no guap? But he's taken on some very good battlers this season, and to be 5-2 at this point is definitely nothing to laugh at. Definitely not saying that just because that's my record, but yeah, I think it's very solid at this point to be 5-2 plus 11. So I think he's been doing a good job, Grant, especially with some of the level of opponents that he's faced. His losses being, I think, Jake week 1, and then I'm not sure who he lost. Oh yeah, Keegan. I literally just said, yeah, he lost to Keegan last week as well. So he was on a winning streak for quite some time, so that's something worthy to say. But yeah, like I said, Landorus really struggles against me. Like looking at it, like, and then that's the main thing. Offensively, that kind of struggles against me. His offense, I think, is not that bad against me. But the problem is Turk as a player. Turk likes to have answers to things defensively, and my draft doesn't allow for that. Because I think both of our offense just kind of really just ruin each other. But I think that my offense is better than his. And knowing that Turk is a player who wants answers to everything, it's going to be very difficult for him to do that because Charizard just destroys him. Celesteela, this is Celesteela's best matchup of the season, like by far so far. Terrakion destroys him. Rotom Wash destroys him, bar like two Mons. So it's really just a lot of my Mons on my draft just destroy him, and he has very limited answers to them. And I can make it, and I can tailor my team to have answers to his answers. Like Charizard, he doesn't have much for Charizard. Looking Roost, 3 attacks, hits everything, just hits everything. Like his best response to it is like an offensive Azu or a defensive like Savali, Rock, or Fire or something like that. And if like I'm not too worried about that, I think I can handle those. So yeah, I'm just gonna hop right into it. First mon we have Charizard. Special. This is like a SWIDF Charizard to help take on the Thundy, as I think that I need responses to the Thundy. Like obviously he could be like turned away from bringing Thundy due to I have a Piloswine Nidoqueen core, which is just amazing, plus the Charizard as well. But I think that it's still worth bringing, and I think that SpF Charizard in general is just really nice against him, while as it can take hits and still hit really hard against the majority of his team. So I really like that there. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. The set just hits things hard and can take some hits. And like I said, Celesteel's matchup is just amazing. This is his best. This is by far its best matchup as Autotomize, 2 attacks, 6 0 just straight up with rocks up. It just wins. So as Lando needs time to just hit me hard with the needs to set up the gravity into Earth Power, so I can hit that thing with some heavy slams and kill it off. Especially with rocks up, I need that chip. Thunderous, if it's not Scarfed, Stone Edge just kills it, or if it's not Chardy, I guess. I can blow away the Azu, blow away the Gudra, Mega Houndoom gets blown away. Bronzong is an interesting case because I can't really touch it, but it can't touch me back. And that's why I have Leech Seed, because if he's not carrying the leftovers, like if he's a berry or something, then I can just Leech Seed him up. And even if he is leftovers, seeding him is nice because I can just get recovery on my switch in on the next turn, so it's really good. Yeah, Savali, I'm not entirely sure. He could be Savali Electric if he's really that concerned about it, but I'm not really expecting that. I think that this thing will be able to deal with Savali. It's really nice for Swellow. I don't even think Swellow is really coming this match, to be perfectly honest. He had Aerodactyl before in the slot before, but he switched it out for Swellow. I think probably for a different matchup, I'm assuming. Um, and I just have like good responses to it in like Terrakion and Celesteela, and I have other responses on the bench, I'm pretty sure as well, so I'm not really worried about that. Weezing is annoying, but like I'm not concerned about Weezing. I'd rather him bring like Weezing rather than like Thunderous or something, because it's more less threatening. Breloom, this thing just bodies, and then Avalugg. I don't even know what an Avalugg is. I had like in all seriousness, I highly doubt he'll bring Avalugg this game, even though he's been bringing it like every week because he has like a boner for it. But I don't think Avalugg really matches up that well here, so not really concerned about it. So that's my Celesteela. Just Autotomize, I can just, once I get rolling, it just really just runs through him, so it's really hard to deal with. And Terrakion here is just really, really good. I have sub 2 attacks dual stab with the Sword Stance and Rocky MZ. His Rocky MZ switch in is Bronzong, and that's literally it. So basically what my plan is to most, if he brings Bronzong, I'm expecting it to be Fizz-Def. And so what I can do is I can set a sub up on the Bronzong, expecting him, if predicting him to go for a Rocks or Toxic. Because if he does that, I get a free sub, and then I get a free hit off, which allows me to weaken the Bronzong for my Celesteela and also my Terrakion as well. Swords Dance is just good because I can just get a really big hit off afterwards. Like a +2 close combat will OHKO a SpF Bronzong, which is why I'm expecting him to be a more physically defensive Bronzong. because of stuff like that. But yeah, Terracion's just Terrakion. It really destroys him. His only mons that outspeed it as well are the Mega Houndoom and the Swallow. He does have his other ways are priority with Aqua Jet and Mach Punch, which are solid, but obviously can be predictable, and I have answers to those two moves, so I'm not as concerned to that. And next up, we have pretty much my win con, as we have the Sword of Breakers with Charizard and Terrakion, and Celesteela is a win con. Well, Celesteela is probably my main win con, but this is like my secondary win con slash revenger, as this thing just outspeeds all of his really fast mons. I can outspeed and I can just pretty much kill. Swallow, Mega Houndoom, Lando, Thunderous. I can deal heavy damage on all of those and just destroy them. And this can even be a check to Breloom, although I don't appreciate taking a Mach Punch from this. But I do have that HP Flying to just OHKO that right away. So I just have Defog on this because I didn't have room for it on Decidueye, and I figured that I want Defog no matter what. Just something nice to have if I have the opportunity to click it and I need to click it. Volt Switch for just obvious reason, for momentum. His only Hydro resists are the Goodra and the Breloom. So if I can remove those two from the game, this thing can just win late game. So I can just Volt out on them, expecting them to switch in more. So the Goodra, I'm not sure if he wanted to risk to. I don't know if he'd want to risk the Breloom, at least early on. So yeah, it's something to consider right there. So yeah, Rotom's just really good this matchup. I think it can put in a lot of work if I play it right. So yeah, next up we have the Decidueye. Decidueye is really here for that Breloom. Breloom's really annoying in this matchup. I have a very speedy Decidueye just for that Breloom. I'm creeping Adamant because I'm creeping Max Adamant because I noticed that he has not brought Jolly to a single game, and I don't think he'd really want to now, because obviously Decidueye and Breloom are both base 90 speed, but so like if he wanted to outspeed Decidueye 100%, he really could have just brought max speed, but then it's like I could have brought back max speed, it just comes down to a speed tie, and I really don't think he'd really want to just bring Jolly max speed just in the off chance I bring max speed Decidueye. Maybe in a rematch I could see him bring max speed Breloom, but just not here. Yeah, but this thing's nice. It says fighting immunity. It is also resistant to Bullet Seed, although Bullet Seed still does a lot, even though I do have some defense investment. So basically my moves, I have U-Turn for just overall momentum. I really like having momentum. I considered having Low Sweep as well for the Mega Houndoom, but I did not bring that just because I felt like having just momentum was better, just U-turning on a potential Houndoom switching, because it takes rocks plus a U-turn. Doesn't really appreciate that. Leaf Blade just for Azu. Spirit Shackle just hits like everything for good neutral damage, and it's stab. And Brave Bird for that Breloom, so I can just OHKO it right away. And then Eye Pop is actually really nice because it just once I'm at like 25%, it just boosts me back up to a good amount of health, and I really like that. So yeah, lastly we have Piloswine. Piloswine is really good this matchup because Ice Shard just really punishes stuff like Swallow, Lando, and Thunder specifically, and it can check stuff like Houndoom. So I really like Piloswine here. If he doesn't bring the Bronzong, he actually doesn't have a good switch into this, which is funny. I guess you can count Avalugg, but like I said, I don't really expect Avalugg to like ever come in this matchup. So yeah, this is just really standard here, which is Rocks, Ice Shard, Icicle Spear, and the Earthquake. Not really much to say about it. It's just a really good glue at the end. Also, like checks the Thunderous and Lando and all that. And yeah, pretty much just that's my team. Good check and glue. But yeah, I think this team is really good against him. This is a really nice matchup, so I definitely hope that we can come out with a win, and hope it's a good game at the very least. So we'll be alright. What is going on, guys? You got Hiker Guap back here, and we are going up against the No Guap Turkey in NPL Week 8. If you did not check out the team builder, I recommend you check it out. But I'll quickly go over the team that we decided to bring. And just fun fact, this game was actually played on April Fool's, so we had all those sprites. So thankfully, it's not like that anymore. But yeah, our team consists of the Charizard, just Spadef Charizard, who's 3 attacks. Celesteela Autotomizing, just really good sweeper against him with 2 attacks, Leaf Seed, and the Autotomize. We have Terrakion with the Z Stone Edge, Close Combat, Sword Stance, and then Substitute. Substitute is really good if I'm expecting Bronzong to go for go for rocks, and the Toxic is just a really good scout. and I can get a free get off on the next turn. Also really good for the wheezing if he does decide to bring that. Rotom Wash in general is just really nice against him. Got Scarf. If I can remove the Goodra, then Hydro Pump just does so much damage to his team. Next up, I have the Decidueye, my main Breloom check with the Aya Papa Berry, just 4 attacks, and Speedy, so I can outspeed that Breloom and revenge it. Then lastly, we have Piloswine with the Ice Shard to keep that Lando in check and just get rocks up, as rocks are really nice for that Houndoom specifically, but just in general are really good. So I'm just going to hop right into this game, see who has more guap, as I'm going to lead with my Charizard, he's going to lead with his Goodra. This is not a very preferable lead, as if he is the Hop-On Berry, he can just take the hit and just OHKO me on the next turn. So I'm just going to play it safe and just pivot out into my Celesteela, as I don't think he'd want to just overpredict turn 1, as he most likely reveals to not have the what's it called, Hop-On Berry, and he goes into his Silvally Rock. So this is his main way of checking the Charizard this game. That's very interesting to see. I'm just going to fire off the Leech Seed here because Parting Shot is obvious. He's going to go out into most likely Bronzong, which is what I'm expecting, but he does go out into the Goodra. And now I'm in a bit of a predicament because he has the Sap Sipper. I really wasn't expecting this to have Sap Sipper, so my thoughts go to maybe he is Power Whip, and if he wants to play aggressive and just go for a Power Whip right here on a Piloswine switch in, if he was like expecting my Piloswine to come, because I know that people know that I really like to use Piloswine, it's a really solid mon, as well as maybe expecting my Terrakion to come in. I think that could be a fair prediction on his part, so I'm actually just going to go ahead, stay in, go for the Heavy Slam, as he's actually going to reveal the Dragon Tail on this turn, as I go out into the Terrakion, which is really, really nice, as I'm going to take this as an opportunity to go for the sub. I wasn't really sure if I could kill him or not. I wasn't really sure what he'd want to do, as like if he stayed and like went for the Draco, I wasn't really confident, because I think that at this range he could have lived a hit, and I didn't want to waste my Z move, especially on an obvious Bronzong that could have came in, so I felt like sub was my best play there. And now I can just fire off the close combat, as he's going to take this opportunity to just break my sub here, as I'm going to just go for the sub again in case he wants to go for the rocks or the toxic, because I want to punish him for that, because if I just switch out and he gets rocks for free, then I just lose in that situation. Well, now I weaken the Bronzong to where it's basically dead, and he's just going to fire off the Gyro now. And now I'm going to go into my Piloswine because I want to get up rocks, and I also don't expect this to do literally half of my health. So this like indicates that he has most likely an item that boosts Gyro Ball, being Iron Ball or Macho Brace. I think Macho Brace can potentially lower his speed, I think, and boost that. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that, but yeah, that does literally 45, which is really bad because I wasn't expecting that to do that much. And so now I really don't want to switch anything into this bar like Steela, and I really want, and now it's going to be hard for me to get my rocks up because this thing's so low, so I'm just going to take the opportunity to get those up. I think I can deal with the Lando. Like I said, Lando's matchup really isn't good against my team, so even with the Piloswine gone, I think I can deal with it just fine. So I'm just going to go into my Celesteela, as I considered going to Decidueye, but I didn't want to just get revenged by the Houndoom, because Houndoom pretty much just claims a kill at this point, as I'm expecting him to be HP Ground. I think him Power Ground is very solid for immediate damage on the Terrakion, so that was what I was sort of expecting going into this, as like I said, this is a good opportunity for me to get my Autotomize up, as he has not revealed the leftovers, so I can beat him even. I don't think Gyro Ball will do enough. It's a Steela. It shouldn't take that much. As I'm going to go for the Autotomize, as he is going to go for the trick, and he's going to trick me in Iron Balls. And he's even going to get my leftovers. So yeah, this is literally just the worst situation that could have happened. Celesteela is pretty much useless now because it cannot get off that It cannot get that Autotomize sweep going. It's still a good attacker against him, like he doesn't appreciate switching into Heavy Slams or the Stone Edges, but it's not as easy for me to get those opportunities to do that. So really, at this point, Celesteela just needs to fire off a big hit on something and hope that it can deal dented dent something because I'm just not in a good position now with that. Like, that really hurt me. As I'm actually gonna choose to, unless he switches out. Yeah, okay. I think he expected me to go for the seeds there, as I'm gonna just do that because I can't really beat this. His leftovers will not give him enough health, so I need to go for the seeds as he makes a good play and do that. I'm just gonna pretty much sack my Celestial here because I don't need it and I don't want to risk something else on my team because I think my other members are far more important. I'm just gonna sack that off for some big damage with the heavy slam on that, as now I can go for the Spirit Shackle, knock that out. And that is gone as he now goes into his Lando to revenge me. So now, basically, he didn't go into his Houndoom because, for those of you who don't really know, I'm recording this like when uploads are already like being uploaded. So I've already seen Turk's upload to this. So basically, he was expecting me to have the low sweep on my Decidueye, which is why he didn't go out into his Houndoom. So that's fair enough on him. I think that is like, especially if I was like a berry and he like went for Dark Pulse or like Fire Blast, and, like my berry activated and I lived, and then I killed and then put him in range of rocks or something because I could outsped him the next turn. So I think that's fair on him. But yeah, looking at this, the Goodra is now gone, and Hydro Pump is really good against everything besides the Breloom because he is Silvally Rock and the Bronzong's weakened. So looking at it, that's my win con at this point. I need to somehow lure the Breloom out and basically just kill it, pretty much. Or just at least weaken it, but Mach Punch does a lot to my Rotom, and it's taking rocks every time it comes in. So now he goes into Lando. I'm not expecting him to ever go for the Earth Power. Because I have a Rotom. Rotom's just a really easy switch in right here. So if anything, I'm expecting him to go for the knockoff. Or the grabber, but more so the knockoff, because knockoff can just really weaken my Decidueye. Decidueye can't really touch this back for that much damage, and he can chip this down for the Breloom, and also the Houndoom he'll be able to just kill it whenever he comes in that on this. So because of that, I'm going to make a bit of an aggressive play to come back into the game, and just going to go into my Terrakion on the knockoff, as that is what he's going to do, and I'm going to get the attack raise, and here comes another quote-unquote 50-50. Not really, it's more so in my favor because knockoff is like a 3 at KO from this range. But if he goes for the knockoff right here, I cannot go for the sub. So because of that, he might just stay in, trying to prevent me from getting the sub. Because if I get a sub up, I get 2 kills here. And if I don't get a sub up here, I just get 1 kill. But I'm going to go for the sub no matter what, because I think that Turk is a player who likes to play safe, and that is what he's going to do. Because the Bronzong sack was just, he had nothing to lose by going for that. And now I'm going to go straight for the close combat, and it is going to be probably, I'm going to say this is my biggest this is one of my 2 misplays of the game. My first one being, I think, with the Celesteela getting tricked. I don't regret sacking Piloswine to the Jower Ball to the Bronzong, but going for close combat here, I think, was a very big misplay because I didn't consider the option of him going into Lando right now and being Scarfed and breaking my sub and then just doing that. So I think that Scarf Lando was a really good bring against me. Well, it's like a okay bring against me. Lando's not that good against me in general, but like for what sets he could have brought, I think that's a very good set because it can revenge a +1 Charizard, as he was clearly very worried about that with having the Silvally Rock and the Scarf Lando. And this also can check the Terrakion both offensively and defensively because it can take a close combat if it needs to. Excuse me. So basically, at this point, I think that I made a misplay by not going for the Z Continental Crush on the previous turn against the Bronzong, because basically think about it like this. If I go for the Continental Crush on the Bronzong dies. If he stays in, I don't care. I'm at +1, so I can kill the Lando with a +1 Stone Edge. I can kill the Houndoom, I can kill the Silvally, and I can kill the Breloom. So after I kill the Bronzong, he's forced to lose a Mon. Like, he's forced to lose 2 Mons 100%. But he made an aggressive play into his Lando to make it so he only loses 1 Mon here. which he successfully does, as he can just revenge me on the next turn with something that outspeeds. So because of that, I only get 1 kill now, and I only get 1 kill, and then he can go into something to avenge me, most likely the Houndoom, and just pick up a kill, meaning he has an extra sack over me, which is not something that is good because I need Rotom, because I want him to sack the Breloom. And when you have basically the Bronzong as a good sack, and then you have and then once I sack something else will become less useful, so you can just sack something else off that's not as useful. So it's really just not good, as yeah, if I Continental Crush, I got a kill with the Bronzong and most likely on something else as well. And if I Continental Crush assuming he makes this play, which he had no reason not to make the same play. Like if I make a different play, he always makes the same play here. He always goes into Lando. And so if I Continental Crush this, I pretty much won. Like I was in a position where I couldn't lose, because I kill this, and he has to sack either Houndoom or Breloom to break the sub. Then he goes into the other one to kill this. So, and losing Houndoom means he pretty much loses to Decidueye, and losing Breloom literally means he loses the Rotom. So that was a misplay on my part. I should have just went for the Crush, because especially since it's really hard for me to get another opportunity to get the Crush off. So that's just really that's a play that he made an aggressive play that I think was a good play on his part, but I think it was a poor play on my part for not trying to punish that play of him trying to just get back into the game. So yeah, with that bit of a rant out of the way, I'm just gonna sack my Charizard because I don't think Charizard's really good. He has a Savali Rock at like full. As you can see, I just choose that Dark Pulse. I really wish I could have used this more in this game, but yeah, it didn't really end up working out. As yeah, like I said, the Savali's just wasn't that good. But like I said, I sacked the Charizard now. Savali's not really useful at this point, so my play is always Hydro Pump. Even if he goes Breloom, he doesn't appreciate that. I can actually potentially put Breloom in range of 2 Hydros, so I can just try and do that, as he just sacks Bronzong, which is a good play, and he's going to go into his Breloom. I considered staying in double Hydroing just because the double out into Houndoom is pretty obvious, just like due to the fact that Decidueye is so obvious. But I'm just gonna make the safe play here, as especially since if I need to, Rotom can still switch into the Mega Houndoom, but obviously once it switches into the Mega Houndoom, it can't take a Mach Punch, so that's very important. As he's just going to go for the Bullet Seed, and bring me down to just 26%, just out of range of my berry, so it doesn't see what item I am. And now becomes an interesting point in the game, as I'm just going to fire off the Brave Bird, I'm going to kill this, and I'm going to get my berry. So this is a very interesting play. It's honestly a bit of a shame, because I think that I made 2 big misplays, I think, in my opinion, earlier on with the Celesteela and then the Terrakion. And then this was a choke on Turk's part, in my opinion. I think that he agrees as well, as his play here should have been the Savali, as Savali, like I said earlier when I sacked Charizard, Savali's not really good anymore. It has no purpose. Well, he literally needs the Breloom to not lose to Rotom. Like, even if I was a defensive Rotom, his Savali and Houndoom struggled to beat that defensive Rotom as well, so I don't think Breloom was ever the play there. I'm assuming he just thought I was a slow Decidueye, which is why I'm assuming that he stayed in there, as obviously, if he could just outspeed and go for the Bullet Seed, obviously I did have the berry, so that wouldn't have worked regardless, unless he got a bunch of good hits, like 4 or 5, maybe 5, I'm not sure how many he would have needed. But yeah, this is just a really big turn, as although even if he did go into the Savali, my play was 100% Brave Bird, and I will never change that play. But I think that I still did have a chance to win if he did go into the Savali. But basically, him making the play of staying with Breloom just 100% locks the game, as long as I hit my Hydros, as we'll see if that happens or not. As I just sack this off now, as I don't need this. And I can just go out into my Rotom, as he's going to make a weird play, in my opinion, just going into Savali and sacking that off. I don't know why he made that play. I think that was a choke on his part as well. I don't think choke is the correct word, just because I don't think choke's the correct word just because he wasn't really in a position to win, but he made his chances less because I think from 51 Volt Switch does not kill the Houndoom, and at this point he needs to bank on a Hydro Miss to win. So I think that he really just needed to bank on that Hydro Miss, and I think that, and just sacking this off means that Houndoom takes another round of rocks, meaning that it's in range of the Volt Switch. So if I do switch out and just sack Tracky and then go for the Volt Switch, I do win. So I do think that he made it so I didn't have to rely on Hydro Pump. However, I'm gonna go for the Hydro Pump here, even though I can just go into my Terrakion, and I'm gonna explain this play as I thought that, like, obviously me missing is huge as he just goes to the Volt Switch, not the Volt Switch, Dirt Pulse, and if he has Sucker Punch, I lose. But my thought process going into this was, if I think that Substitute is more likely than him having the Sucker Punch, because I don't think Sucker Punch is really good for anything. Like, my fast mons are Terrakion and the Alolan Persian, so you don't really need it for that. And I really doubt you'd care enough to bring it for a Charizard at +1, because like that still doesn't do that much to Charizard. So unless you had like an idea, and like especially when you have Scarflando to revenge +1 Charizard and Savali to check it defensively, I really don't think you need Sucker Punch on this. And so I wanted to stay in, so I didn't choke away the game, because if he went for the because if he went for the sub on this turn as I go into my Terrakion. Actually, thinking about it, I'm really dumb, and I tried to choke away the game because even if he went for the sub here, my Rotom would have been at a higher enough health to not die. Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah, I'm not good at Mons, I promise. I'm like bad at Mons. But yeah, pretty much just sacking. Every time I should have just sacked Terrakion here, because even if he went for the substitute, I won bar a crit. And it's more likely to miss a Hydro than get crit. So I should have went for the odds that were in my favor, because like obviously you could still have like random Sucker Punch. But yeah, because if he went for sub, then I just sack Terrakion, I Volt Switch, break the sub, he Dark Pulses, doesn't kill me, then I just Volt Switch again. And then obviously if he isn't sub, then I just sack Terrakion away. So yeah, I pretty much made a misplay right there, but yeah, regardless, I'm going to go into my thing. And I'm at 6%, and he's not going to go for the Sucker Punch, so I am going to win this game 1-0. Rotom is at 6%, Guap King, Guaptoad. But yeah, this was a really close game by Turk. I think it was close because we both made misplays here and there, but regardless, I think that, like, we both made misplays here and there. Regardless, I think it was a pretty decent game overall, and I'm glad that we managed to come out on top, as we are now 6-2 plus 12, I think, while Turk is now 5-3 plus 10. So our differential is still really close. So if we do lose next week and he wins, he can potentially overtake us once again. So yeah, we really want to win and try and get that first seed, but winning this game is just really, really key. So really happy that we won this. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. So next week we're going up against Illusion, so stay tuned for that, and peace.